once again, back once again, back once again, back once again, back once again with a beat. Let the bass kick.
George Bernard Shaw says we are made wise not by recollection of the past, but by the responsibility for our future. That's why we need to understand and apply wisdom in all things, mind, body, and soul. And this short podcast helps you do just that. This episode, expertise, a matter for the heart. In fact, the future of being an expert is all about the heart. When asked, how do you prepare a person for the unknown world of tomorrow? The director of the London School of Economics and Political Science answered, being able to synthesize information, analyze it, and be critical about it will be very important. In the past jobs, they were all about muscles. Now they're about brains. But in the future, they'll be about the heart. The caring and creative professions have high levels of emotional intelligence. The skills that robots can't do will be required in the future. I wrote this article about the turn of a new year, and where we start to begin thinking about making some moves. Our roles at work have made their way to the list of things that we need to change in the coming year. But maybe it's less about changing jobs, even at this point in time of your life, and more about having a change of heart. Or, to put it the way the director did, be more focused on the heart. More on that in just a moment. As you assess your current role or the future of your career, particularly as it relates to what you uniquely have to offer, have you started to wonder if you or your role are robot-proof? How soon could it be that Alexa goes from being your assistant to being your boss? Or at the very least starts doing your job better than you? At what point could you be overtaken by artificial intelligence? Not that what you work so hard to know and be proficient at should be disregarded, but that it may not provide you the edge that you'll need. Indeed, it is not even a who-you-know world anymore. It has become who knows you, which I think is a good thing. In his article for HBR, Bill Fisher highlights the two remaining qualities that have not been overtaken by AI yet. In his article, The End of Expertise. From the perspective of being as valuable as an expert, Fisher refers to a trust equation. It's developed by David Maister and a few other people. The equation goes like this. Trustworthiness equals credibility plus reliability plus intimacy divided by self-orientation. Essentially, credibility and reliability are being commoditized, leaving intimacy, or emotions, and self-orientation, or motives, as the means of being valuable and influential and employed. In other words, expertise is a matter of the heart. Richard Straub is the president and founder of the Peter Drucker Society in Europe. He says, being human is consciously to bring judgment, intuition, creativity, empathy, and values into play. In business, it is the domain of entrepreneurial thinking and innovation, of weighing decisions, of collaboration and trust, qualities that are utterly different from the machine logic of network sensors and processors. In other words, you win by truly being yourself, human. You may not be able to outsmart them, but you can out-human them. So how do we become this new expert? Demonstrating the two remaining characteristics of trustworthiness, intimacy, and self-orientation are not just a part of making us unique, it can be a way to stay ahead of the machines, because the new expert is not so much about what you know, but what you show. So let's look at those two just a little bit more. First, intimacy. When healthy, intimacy in the workplace provides the safety people need to share with you on an emotional level. According to the Psychology Today article, 5 Benefits of Corporate Intimacy, intimacy fuels the connectedness and the influence we have as a leader and coworker. It also addresses the very practical things like improving communication, reduces counterproductive groupthink, reduces stress. People look forward to work and working with you, and enhances creativity. Self-orientation. This has to do with motives. Demonstrating self-orientation leads to others trusting that you care about them more than you care about yourself. While it refers to personal focus, the focus is on your thinking, less of yourself. So intimacy, building trust, self-orientation, also adding to building trust. So we want to be better at being better. While our focus on being human is good career advice, we may be able to delay the inevitable by also doing our best to be our best. Eric Barker wrote How to Become an Expert at Anything, according to the experts, for Time magazine, and lays out a process for doing the work of being better at being better. Here's how he outlines being an expert in anything. First, having a mindset of being in it, the career you've chosen, for the long haul, significantly boost results. He says those who made a long-term commitment did 400% better than the short-termers. Secondly, don't just find a mentor. Find one that truly cares about you. Third, focus on what is most important to your getting better. There are many components to any skill, but practicing them all doesn't produce the same results. He says David Epstein put it simply, the hallmark of expertise is figuring out what information is important. And you want to practice those important things as intensely as you would if you were playing in the World Cup or the U.S. Open or the Stanley Cup or fill in the blank there. But that level of intensity around practicing those important things. Fourth, if it doesn't hurt, it doesn't count. Desirable difficulty means that the harder you work trying to retrieve something from memory, the better you learn. Really work hard at trying to remember and retrieving something from memory. You'll learn it better. Next, get fast negative feedback and get it from someone who knows. He says if they're not experts, the result is much worse than when you screw up. Get the right feedback. Sixth, it's not just about studying, it's about testing. Test yourself, and it'll go better when you're tested. He says, spend only 1/3 of your time studying. The other 2/3 of your time, you want to be doing the activity, testing yourself, he says. And lastly, take that nap. Eric says, if you're not getting enough sleep, you're not learning as well as you could be. So get better at being better. Have the mindset of being in it for the long term. Don't just find a mentor. Find somebody that really cares about you. And you want to focus on what is most important to your getting better. Learn to accept desirable difficulty. It should be hard to get better. Get fast negative feedback from someone who knows. And don't just study, be sure that you test and get some rest. Now being yourself makes even more sense than ever. Not just because you're not supposed to be anyone else. And more than remaining relevant, it's that the very thing that makes us human is what will allow us to have a profound impact through what we've been called to do. It is right for us and the rest of the other humans. I know you're busy. That's why I've put together the Wisdom in All Things podcast to help you benefit from all there is to read and watch and listen to. And if you would, please tell others about what you've heard today, where you can hear it. Here on your favorite podcast platform or at wisdominallthings.com.